What do we call it? Inverse operation.
It's a normal yet exciting day inside the Chapman New American Academy in South St. Louis. Like any school, students are learning in these classrooms. But for the first time, the world will hear about this unique public school, one that is changing the lives of refugees from war-torn countries.
I think it's a story that needs to be told.
It's a story that's coming out thanks to director Lauren Miller and cinematographer Brian O'Connell in their new film, Day One. The movie follows a group of teens from war zones in the Middle East and Africa for 1 year as they resettle in St. Louis.
At this point, we have about 56 different languages represented.
The two created the film after a visit in 2016. Miller heard about the school from a college classmate. The Academy helps students transition into regular public high school with tremendous support and mentorship.
We weren't sure what we were going to expect when we came here. We came for 1 day, we came with the camera, and we got to meet most of the teachers that you see featured in the film, Donnie Harris, the retired principal, as well as all these wonderful children. And so we kind of just decided then and there on the spot we were going to try to make a film.
At first it was a little intimidating to have the camera crew there. I would say after a couple weeks we sort of got used to having them there.
And oh, the stories that came out once students felt comfortable enough to share their journey with the filmmakers.
We was walk like throughout the school. There was mix all day and they were children in the same class.
In Congo, my grandpa was shot by some people. They were looking for some kind of a tribe.
We were sort of expecting to make a story about what it was like to be a refugee, what was this school all about, because I found the idea of a transitional school to be so unique and unusual that I thought it was such a worthwhile thing to try to put on film and tell people that this type of school existed.
Well, that was the original intention. But as the political climate around immigration changed with the 2016 election, so did Miller's movie.
We did not expect things to change so quickly politically. The presidential election happened, and it really did affect the lives of these children in terms of them not feeling as welcome and wondering what was going to happen to them, what was going to be their future. And so that became an additional layer that was added to the film as we went along.
The focus of the film is on the educators, the students, and their families, showing a program of healing and education.
We're receiving them with open arms, and we're helping them to heal.
Hearing some of the students relive unbearable tragedies and hardship was tough.
In Somalia, there is a lot of problem. If you are little, they're gonna cut you, they're gonna put you in soldier.
I wasn't quite prepared for the feelings. Really, at the end of the day, we felt we just couldn't film hour upon hour upon hour. It was too emotionally difficult. And sometimes we'd get a few of the interviews with the kids, and we'd need a break, or we'd need to kind of shut it down for the day and start the next day. It was very upsetting to hear what they had been through.
The movie speaks to the education of these unique students. Some had school but needed to learn English. Others had never learned to count or read.
Okay, so look around. Do you see a word with M?
We have students with varying degrees of trauma depending on what their situations were like before they came to us. We've had students who have spent their entire lives in refugee camps. This is a community that is often overlooked or misunderstood. These are individuals with stories that need to be told, and these are individuals who are resilient, who are hardworking, who are here to better themselves, who want to receive an education, and who are really just thankful for that opportunity.
Some of the teachers say watching the movie was bittersweet.
It just brought back a lot of good memories, but also some really hard ones.
All students will be for global academic success.
Much has changed since 2016, At the time, there was rapid growth in the school with many refugees coming from Syria and Somalia, 2 countries that are now banned. The school's population has gone down dramatically. The former principal featured in the film has retired. The district now separates younger kids from the high schoolers in a different building.
I was also a little sad because it framed a moment in time where we were all working really, really hard together. We were experiencing a lot of growth in our school, and it was very challenging.
It's emotional to see those kids' stories again. I mean, we live with those stories every single day, and we work with those kids every single day. But to see those kids up on the screen telling their stories again, and to see the reactions of the audience members is really emotional. And it makes me very proud of those students and our staff, our teachers, and the work that they do every day.
I think that this is a population that most people don't really know about necessarily. They're not aware of how many people are coming into the United States and the reasons why they're coming. And it's the largest growing group of students that we have in the United States, English learners. So it's good for people to know who is coming into their schools and the reasons why they're arriving.
Day One is now touring the United States. It was shown to audiences at the St. Louis International Film Festival, audiences that included educators and students from the school.
I think a lot of people are surprised at the resilience of this community. I think people are also surprised when they see that these students are teenagers, just like other kids. There's a clip in the film where 2 of our students talk about liking Justin Bieber.
I'm from Kenya.
And I'm from Afghanistan. Like, whatever music if I like, I will send her and she's gonna listen. I like Justin Bieber.
Sam.
Carrie Ritchie says she's developed lifelong relationships with her students and their families. She hopes the movie will teach American students that these refugee students have more in common with them than they know.
They want to have American friends. They want to learn the language. They want to have a purpose for learning this language. They want to know what the social norms are, and they want to become integrated in this culture, and they'll do that best befriending an American.
And Miller believes her movie has life lessons for adults as well.
I'm hoping on a global level that people will think about immigration in a positive light, that some of the negative, incendiary language that's out, being put out into the world right now, I think some people might have the impression that immigrants are bad, and I think this is a very human story. It shows the humaneness of all the people involved, and so I think that's one thing. I think another thing that I thought was interesting about the story is the school is a trauma-informed public school, and there's so many children in our country, all around the world, who have experienced trauma. And if you can nurture these kids, show them some love, give them some counseling, they will really shine and do well in life. And that was one of the most important things I felt came out of making the film.